name's Emily, welcome back to my channel. I thought I would throw something into the mix, shake things up a little bit and do a video slightly off topic. It's not about my current training. This video is about all of my past marathons and how I went from running a 3:49 marathon to my current PB, which is 3 hours 12. So I started running in 2017 after watching the London Marathon. My friend was running it for charity, and the thought of running 26.2 miles just blew my mind. I was a gym bunny at the time. I did cardio at the gym. I ran a little bit, but at that point in my life, it was just about being thin. I didn't think about being good at anything particularly. I don't think I was in a very good headspace. I'd recently come back from travelling overseas. I lived overseas for pretty much close to 5 years. And when I came back home, I had lost touch with a lot of old friends. I really didn't know what to do with myself and what to do with my life. I didn't know what my interests were. I was lost. So running started really from being inspired by watching the marathon. My first marathon I signed up for was the Edinburgh Marathon, which was in 2018. I wasn't in any running club, so to speak. I was a member of Vegan Runners UK, but I didn't have any running friends. I ran alone. I followed a training plan off the internet, which was taped up on the side of my fridge until recently. I think I took it down about a year ago. I had no experience. I really did not know what I was doing at all. I just followed a standard plan and just went for it. In my mind, I think I thought I was capable of being able to run the UK qualifying time for Good for Age for London, which was 3:45 at the time. I'm not sure if that's still the same time. I think I overshot it a little bit. Let's just put it that way. I think this has to be my favourite medal of all the medals that I have, and I have a lot. It's just beautiful. It's special because it was my first ever marathon. There it is. It's beautiful. So my first marathon, the Edinburgh Marathon, I ran in 3 hours, 49 minutes and 45 seconds. I can remember just going off and thinking, oh, this feels really good. This feels really nice. And I just went off way too quick. I hit that wall. I hit that wall hard. It was mile 18, which is, I think, the standard mile for a lot of people to feel the pain. It was literally just one foot in front of the other. I can remember the start, there was a lot of people in the city, a lot of people cheering, and then it goes to the coast, and then you go through a place where it's pretty desolate. There's not really anyone there. I think mentally you drop off a bit and kind of lose momentum. I like a crowd. That's something I've noticed. I love people screaming and shouting and it being busy and just chaotic, and that just keeps me going for the whole of the marathon. There were a couple of takeaways with that first marathon. The first one, don't explore a brand new city the day before a marathon. Just don't do it. We must have walked around Edinburgh for hours. I don't even know how many steps I did. I think at the time I was thinking, oh, this is really good. It's going to keep my legs moving. And yeah, no, don't do it. Just don't do it. Now when I run a marathon, if I'm in the city, I just do bare minimum. I will literally go out for food. That is it. If I'm at home, same again. I stay in. I don't leave the house. I'll probably just walk Pixie, my dog, and that is it. You need to rest, people, before your marathon. The feeling of finishing that marathon, I can remember just looking at my watch and seeing the mile markers and just getting closer and closer. I could just feel myself getting really, really emotional. Running down that finishing straight at Edinburgh Marathon, my photos, I have the worst photos, the most ugly cry face photos ever, but I was just so proud of myself. The strangest thing happened. I ran in headphones. Now I don't, but I ran with music on. I think because I'd always trained in music, I was so scared to not run with it in my ears. And it was full of songs that were all positive and keep me going. It's like, yeah, you can do this, you go girl type of playlist. The final song that came on as I ran down that finishing straight was Heather Small's Proud. And I can just think, like, what a song to finish on. And I think that probably added to the tears coming out of my face. To finish a first marathon in under 4 hours, I think is amazing. And to do it without being a part of the running community, not having any running friends, not really knowing what I was doing. I don't think I ever had any sports massages at the time. I didn't really know anything about nutrition or hydration. It just shows, really, if you're determined and give it a go, good things can happen. Marathon number 2 was the 2019 Manchester Marathon. This one, I got a proper plan of somebody who knew what they were doing and knew what they were talking about. And the goal for this time was to get that good for age qualifying time for London. I gave everything. I did not miss any training. I stuck to the plan like glue. I had a couple of running friends now, so I met up with local vegan runners, and there was another social running club that I went and ran with, and through them I got to know a couple of people, which was really lovely. It was the big goal of getting good for age. I was running quite a lot at this point. I was running half marathons, 10Ks. I think this is when the obsession started to take over. So I had my eye on the big prize, the unicorn that was good for age London. Trained my backside off. I didn't miss a training session. I was so focused. I've never been so determined to get something so much in my life. My friend ran the marathon with me. He paced me. He had run a 3:20 or 3:25 marathon in the past, and he was running. He had a bit of a slight niggle, so had decided to not race the marathon because he had a Seville marathon later in the year that he wanted to commit to. So my friend Simon paced me, and it was great. It was good fun. I think it was the first time that I really took in all the crowds and didn't have my music on and really knew what was going on around me. Mark was there, and Mark did a really good job of getting from a couple of places around the course.
How you feeling?
Knowing that somebody's on the course as you're running around, it really, really does help, like massively helps. So marathon number 2, I finished in 3 hours, 35 minutes. And as you can tell from my finishing photos, I was absolutely stoked. I was over the moon. It meant everything. I felt confident that my time was far enough underneath the threshold to actually get a place, but until you get that email, you never really know. A quite nice PB on that one. Marathon number 3 was Chester Marathon, and I actually won the place through like a high five competition. Yeah, this marathon, I pretty much finished Manchester, had a bit of a break, and then went into training for it. I still worked in education, so I had the summer to train. I remember training for Chester. I wasn't in a good place mentally. Had a bit of a dip again. I wasn't really happy with myself. I was quite lost. I was feeling quite angry with the world, quite angry with myself. I think there was a lot of things that I hadn't dealt with in the past that were sitting on my chest. It's a weird one to talk about, but I think to think about that time of that year is quite difficult. I had running. I had a really good hobby for me to focus on, which probably saved me, to be honest. So Chester, I'd already got my good for age time, so the aim was just to run it again, but a bit quicker. So as I got closer to the day, I decided that I wanted to go for under 3 hours 30. I ran it in 3 hours 29, like 49, I think. I'd have to double check this. So I was just under the 3.5 hours. And I can remember just thinking, oh my God, this is going to be so close. Chester Marathon it's a weird marathon because you start in Chester, you run through Wales, and then you come back. There's not that much support on the course. And there are some massive hills, like mile 17, mile 19, I think it is. And then there's another one right at the end, like mile 24. How I PB'd, I don't know, especially with it being my second marathon of the year. This was lockdown. This was a lockdown marathon. Manchester Marathon 2020. So we all remember the pandemic and basically the whole world shut down. nobody got to run any marathons, nobody got to run any races. 2020 came, just about to start my marathon training, tripped over my front doorstep on New Year's Eve and broke a very, very small bone in my ankle. I have never been so heartbroken in my life. To get that phone call after I'd been for my x-rays to say that the consultant had found a piece of like broken bone on the x-ray. Oh God, I was so sad. I can remember just like crying down the phone to this lady, explaining that I was supposed to be training for the London Marathon. But then 2020 was the year of COVID. So broke my foot, trained, got better. And then there was no London Marathon. So if I was going to break a bone, that was the year to do it. When I was back up and running, I'd done all my rehab at the hospital and I was given the complete green light to go. I just started building up the miles again. And my friend Amanda is a ultra runner and she was training for, I think, like a big 50 or 60 kilometre event. I'll have to check with her. I can't remember which one it was. We just ran a marathon around the streets of Stoke-on-Trent. And yeah, I think we did it in just over 4 hours or just under 4 hours. I'll put all the times and everything up on the screen, but I'll have to go back and check them. I should have done that before I started this video, but I didn't. Next time. It was just a really good day out. Our friends Chris and Sam came out and they met us on certain points to run it with us. All I can remember was it absolutely down. The skies opened and we just got absolutely drenched. It was really nice because we stopped every 10k, we had some saurine, some snacks, and it was just really chilled. There was no pressure. It was more of a training run for us. And for me, it was just, I needed it to know that I could do it after breaking my foot. I could cover the distance before going into training for the London Marathon. When it eventually happened and the world opened up again. Marathon number 4 was my remote marathon. That was in 2020, the Manchester Marathon. Okay, here we go. So, after COVID, I decided that I wanted to join a proper running club. I wanted to push myself. I wanted to train for London, surrounded by some of the best runners in the city. With the City of Stoke, the coach Kev usually goes and poaches people. I had the audacity to email and ask if I could just come down and train with them and if I could tag along. And he said, yeah. I wanted big things to happen. I wanted magic things to happen. And going down to that first session on a Tuesday night was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. I've always been one of the slowest, if not the slowest, at the back during training sessions. And on paper, when it comes to races, I have the slowest times, but I'd rather be at the back and the slowest of training with the best than who push me and inspire me. Are we on 5 now? Number 5, finally got to run the London Marathon 2021. So I was a member of City of Stoke. I had a plan that was written for me by my coach Kev, and I was still working in education at the time, and the marathon was in the October. It hadn't moved back to the April. So I had the whole of the summer basically to focus on the marathon training. Again, similar to the first Manchester that I ran, put absolutely everything into that marathon. I, at this point now, had a really good running community around me. I think at first I just wanted, because we'd had some time off with COVID and I'd broken my foot, I didn't really know what time I wanted to go for. I was thinking maybe 3:25, 3:20. I didn't really know how much my body could do. I didn't know what I was capable of. I ran a half marathon a couple of weeks out and I said to my friends, I'm going to go for sub 90. No, I didn't say that. I said I was going to go for 90 minutes. And my friend Amanda was like, okay, because I was so deep in marathon training and I hadn't tapered for this race. And I was like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to see how I feel. And I got it. I ran 90 minutes, 35, I think. I can remember going to my coach. I think it was about 4 weeks out from London, I'm sure of it. I can remember going to Kev and saying, I think I should aim for something quicker than 3:25 because I just ran a 90-minute half marathon. And he went to me, 3:15. And I can remember just being like, I can't run that. I can't run 3:15. And he was like, go for 3:20 though, but you can run 3:15. So I was like, okay, if you think I can do it, then surely I can. I'm going to go for it. The training went amazing. There was nothing, from what I can remember, there were no hiccups, there was no injuries, there was no niggles. I kept on top of everything. I didn't drink for the majority of training. It was a seamless training block. It was just went really well. I can't think of anything at all that got in the way of training. I don't think I missed any sessions, any runs. So just before London, I went and had a little look to see what the championship qualifying times were, and it was sub 3:14. And I had a bit of a word with myself and was like, well, if I'm going for 3:15, maybe I should just go for sub 3:14 and try and get the championship place. I have never felt so good and so confident going into a race. I just felt so ready. I knew I'd done all the hard work. I knew I'd done everything, and I think because it had been so long for me to get there, I think what a lot of people don't realise, me getting to that start line, it had taken years. It had taken me 2 years to get there. All the training for Manchester Marathon in 2019 and running that marathon and getting that time is what got me to the starting line of London 2021. To get there was just so big for me. I can remember having a bit of a cry in the shower in the morning, and it was just to get rid of a couple of nerves. I got there on the day and I was like completely fine. I was quite calm. I think because I'd rested the day before, I'd eaten well. I was just ready. I was so ready and excited because I'd never run London before, and this was the first time. I remember saying to my mum and Mark that I'm going to go and try and go for sub 3:14. And my mum was like, don't do it. Kev has told you to go for 3:15. Don't go try and push and run any quicker. And I was like, I think I can do it. I was like, but I'll listen to my body, don't worry. And laid back Mark was like, yeah, whatever, go for it. Have fun. And I just went and ran quicker than I intended. Like, some miles were just ticking over so nicely. I didn't hit the wall. I didn't start to feel uncomfortable at any point. I started to feel fatigued about mile 22, I think it was. I think mile 23 was when I was like, oh, count these off now, it's 5k. But I didn't slow down. If I look back at my splits, like every 10k was pretty much like exact. I had just ran the most sensible race I've ever ran. It was just beautiful. So there it is. Yay! This one probably means the most, if I'm honest. I ran the London Marathon 2021 in 3 hours, 12 minutes and 11 seconds. Those 12 seconds will haunt me because it's so close. It was just the perfect race for me. The weather was perfect. I fueled spot on. There was one thing, I got a bit of stitch in my shoulder. I think it was about mile 23, 24, and it was really painful. And I must have like changed my posture as I was running. And there was this guy who's Spanish next to me, and he just handed me his bottle of water. He goes, do you need this? And I was like, oh my God, like, really? It was so beautiful and so special. First London, I'll never forget. Now, I don't think anything beats your first London, ever. It's just probably one of the most amazing days. If you run, it's the Christmas of marathons. It's just, I can't explain it. Just everybody, the amount of people, the people on the side shouting, the music, the atmosphere. You turn down the mall, you know, you watch it on telly every year, and then to actually be there and do it and take that last turn, and you've got Buckingham Palace behind you, it's, oh God, I can't wait to do it again this year. I really can't. Just seeing people in like their vests, the charity vests that they run in, you see some people with messages of the people that they're running for, people who have passed away, and it just touches you so, it's so emotional at the same time, because you think some people have put themselves so far out of their comfort zone to run a marathon, and they're doing it for somebody else, not themselves like me. Such a special day. It's amazing. Marathon number 6. So I got my championship place. I ran a championship qualifying time in 2021 to run the London Marathon 2022. This is a pretty cool medal, actually. So 2022. Previously that year, I decided to quit my job in education, my lovely steady job in education, but stressful. And I went self-employed. I decided to start my own business. So if anybody is self-employed or has quit their job and started their own business, you will know that everything has to go into that. Everything. The priority shifts so much because it's not a case of you just turning up to work and getting it done and then you get paid every month. I have to go and make my own money now. If I don't make money, that falls on me. So you have to set up a business, you have to promote a business, you have to go and meet lots of new clients. You work 7 days a week. I don't think I had any proper time off that year at all. Knew that 2022 London Marathon wasn't going to be the marathon I hoped for pretty early on. The fact that I missed quite a few runs my first training week, I think come the day I'd probably done about 65, maybe 70 at a push of the training. I'd missed a lot of long runs. I got injured at one point where my knee wouldn't fully extend. It was really weird. I was going to Sophie Goodfellow, who is the sports physio that I go and see now. And we really could not figure out what it was, what had happened. It was the strangest thing. And that was quite close to the end. I'd missed my last 3 or 4 long runs. It was just, it wasn't happening. I'd also put quite a bit of weight on. I don't know. I just wasn't in the right space. Looking back, I hadn't really attempted to train for the marathon or turned up to run it. So much else going on in my life at the time was starting the business that it wasn't the right year for me to go and do it. But I did because I love running and I'd got a championship place and I just really wanted to experience that. Pressure of that stripy bib got to me a little bit. I was so nervous on that start line and you're away from the masses. So there's not that many people there. I just felt so alone, just that in this separate area. And I just was looking around and everybody looked really professional, elite level. And then there was me, the biggest ball of anxiety. I never get nervous on like start lines or waiting to start. Usually in the morning while I'm like getting up and having breakfast, I might feel a bit, but it kind of shifts pretty quickly. I started that race, the first 5K, I was all over the place. I couldn't settle my pace. I couldn't get into rhythm. I think I ran mile 3 at 6 minutes 40. I can remember looking at my watch and I'm like, you are an absolute idiot. You are going to ruin this. I hit the wall very early on. I think it was about mile 15. And then it was the biggest mental game ever. It was horrible. I had no family there because there were train strikes. I had a couple of friends who had driven up who I saw a few times on the course. Thank God they did because I was in a world of pain that day. I was not having the best run ever. I think in my head I wanted to aim for like 3:05 off little to no decent training. I don't know what was going on in my head. Lost my head about mile 13. I got one of my energy gels out and a guy ran past me and went and knocked it and it went flying out of my hand and just, oh God. I can remember just screaming like, no! Yeah, he should have gone and picked that up for me. I ran that marathon in 3 hours, 18 minutes. So it was my second fastest marathon. If I'd gone out sensible, I probably could have ran it a couple of minutes quicker, but it doesn't really matter. We did meet Harry from McFly though at the end. My friend made me run and chase him while I was on the phone to his wife. Not creepy at all. Not creepy at all. So yeah, I got my place for London 2023, and that is pretty much about 4 or 5 weeks into training. I injured my calf, I had injured my soleus, and I just couldn't run. As I got the injury within like a week or 2 and it just wasn't getting better, I knew that I just wouldn't be running the marathon. So I came to terms with it pretty early on. Just after summer I decided that I needed to give myself a big kick up the backside and I signed up for Manchester Marathon. So that was originally the plan for this year. Got injured again. It was just 2023 was just like this, like up and down, up and down. There was just no steady at all. It was a nightmare. So 2024, I am so excited for this year. I'm so excited for London Marathon this year. I feel like I've got the excitement and the buzz back from the first year I ran London in 2021. Yeah, I feel like it's my time to dance again. I feel I've got really high hopes and I really want to give it everything I've got. I'm really committed. I'm definitely disciplined. I feel that my mindset this year is the same as 2021. So maybe that break did me good. Maybe last year, having a down year, not running that much. I think I ran about 3 events. Maybe that shift, that break was what I needed for me to kind of get the spark back this year. Who knows? But currently in week 7 of training. So I've still got a fair way to go, but I'm really excited to see what happens over the next few weeks. Really hoping in 9 weeks' time, I'll be sat here recording a video again with my 2024 medal, just having a rundown of London Marathon 2024. Hopefully with a little PB. A little PB would be nice. But we all know I've got higher hopes than that, but we'll see. It's a bit too early yet. It's a bit too early to call it. So thank you for watching my video. If you haven't already, please like and also subscribe to the channel. And if you're also training for a spring marathon, good luck, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye!